Bradshaw, and I'm presenting today the cookhouse that I wrote up a number of years ago. I have a little illustration here, a little blueprint that I made for a very cost-effective project, a small project. In fact, it's utilizing thrown away gas ovens. I have a design and a plan where one fire is used to grill, to bake, and to smoke. And I have a side plan here. I drew it up with block. And this is actually a structure where, if you can see here, there's a place where there's a smoke shop. This is the back side from the outside view. I show the slab. There's a slab here that has a little slope here for clean out, so the ashes can be washed out at the end. And this is the side view, and this shows another plate here, a sliding door that you can actually, this is the side view and this is the back view. And as you can see, the width is only 3.25 feet. The top is 6.5 feet. And there's a little sliding door here to utilize the smoke. And this is for especially for people that need to have a sodium reduced diet. Smoking mullet does not require any salt or even pepper, just smoke enough. If you use oak wood or hickory or pecan or any kind of fruit tree, it's good for smoke flavored meats, including fish. But except for fish, you don't need the salt. If you grill with any kind of meat, you do need salt. And here we have a floor plan. And so I could show that here there's an iron grill on top of the oven, and beside it there's an oven that gets the heat from besides the fire. I have a little crude drawing here to show that three things can be got from one fire. On top, you could have a grill, you could have a pot of beans, a pot of soup, and then here you have an oven. There's no smoke getting there, so you can make your bread in there, you can bake bread in there. And I just showed the three, actually that would be the backside, although you could put something on a third, that would make four, because I have a smoke shelf going through the back to smoke the fish. And I would recommend wrapping the fish in banana leaves, aluminum foil. If you have plantains, you just put them in there in the peel. If you have corn, you leave them in the husk, and you put them in a bucket of water first, so that the husk is wet, and then it gets steamed in with the flavor of the husk. And you don't have to have any salt, you don't need pepper, you don't need paprika, you don't need butter. It's delicious. The moisture and the heat, it cooks the corn, and and a little bit of smoke flavor is all you need. Now, we talk about this project for expansion of the kingdom of righteousness, and I'm considering this as something for community. I have a vision for communities to come together and to cook together, and eat together, and to prosper together. And something about the full gospel, the salvation that came through our Savior, was not only for the hereafter, for saving of the soul, but also for saving us from curse of disease and poverty. When we begin as a community to come together and to work together and create jobs and live efficiently, not wasting resources, then the quality of life goes up for everybody. So this presentation I have concerning the cookhouse, it's a beginning, some place where people can come and eat. You know, when we have church and we come to a building, and many have if you have to travel long ways and there's rush hour, it's very formidable, especially get off of work, you haven't eaten anything. But when you have a community where your neighbors are welcome to come out and have some dinner, if you're next to a park, if you're next to a park and you can open to the public, then you can feed the stranger, you can feed the homeless. If you're close to the beach, if you have a property close to the beach, you could even baptize in the ocean those who receive the gospel. But if you're away from any bodies of water, then we could talk about making baptism pools, making a patio with baptism pools. Now, again, this is a small project. I also have a design for a restaurant. I've calculated the price of the materials for block and iron, 1 inch iron rods. When you have 1 inch rebar, it doesn't corrode. If you have 3/8 rebar, they will eventually, rust out. But if you have 1 inch rebar, they last forever. The heat's not going to bother them. And you making a commercial grill for $1,500, just material is very cost effective as opposed to spending $1,500 for the welding a grill together of barrels that don't even last a year. So I have a restaurant that's looking at having this done this winter. But to have as a ministry outreach for building up the kingdom, we're looking at principles that Father spoke, that we should have mercy for the poor, and not to consider a fast before him as acceptable when we just depriving ourselves of food and consider ourselves made righteous by our suffering. But then when we begin to relieve the poor, when we begin to feed the hungry, in this country we see a lot of abuse of that which is done in charity's sake. Many people get grants from the federal government to have charity, and they live very lavish lives. And then some of the people served, they abuse the system, collecting all the benefits and then selling drugs on the side from the money they don't spend on the food. But when you begin to serve those who truly have need, when there's healing for the mentally ill, and there's the healing for the disabled, for those who are chronically bound by a mindset of don't know how to work and don't know how to learn how to work, and nobody wants to hire them because they're so pitiful. But you have deliver hope, they have friendship, deliver instruction, even jobs, creation of industry. These are things that we can do as a community. And this is, again, it's a small project I'm presenting in as little time as possible. I can't get into this brief uh, presentation how much it costs to start a business, but I'll present this on a paper that's going to come along with this. But to build a place where the fire is not wasted, this is the first step. Because most of the time when people don't like to barbecue, you cut all this wood, you burn all this coal, and most of the heat just goes straight up the sky. And if your fire is too hot, everything gets burned up. And you have to keep a cool fire to smoke meat so they don't get burned up and they taste good. But here, we're looking at some place where you have an oven, and the heat is heating this oven. You can bake bread without smoking in there. You have a grill up top here. You can put, again, have a pot of beans. Just let your mind go there. Have some black beans cooking with some beef stock in there. I like Dr. Sulak, we talking about bone soups. I started taking beef bones and pata de toro and some ancho peppers and garlic and some seasoning. I make a big pot of beans, and it goes a long way. It's very economical. Make any kind of soup, and you can make any, actually, and then if you can cook, there's all kinds of things, indefinite things. You can do all kinds of things with a grill. You can make a pot of tamales. You can make a bosa. You can make flatjacks. You can make anything. You can grill fajitas. You can make absolutely whatever you want to. You have an oven, a stove, and then a smoker with only one fire. So the cost of cooking has been reduced by 3. Now, this is very good, especially if you're serving a large number of people. If you're serving 500, 1,000, 3,000, 5,000 people, you need to have an efficient way of producing. And so, again, this project I'm talking, this is a small design. It can be much larger. I mean, how much land you have available. This is a small plot. This here has a floor plan of only 3.25 feet by, what's that? I think it was 7 feet here. Yeah, 2 feet by 4 inches. Yeah, 5 feet by 7 and 4.5 inches. 7 feet, 4.5 inches. That's not very much space at all. Any residence with an acre of land could easily have a cookhouse on their property. If you have more space, more room, and go as much as you want to go. Anyway, this is my presentation. I had this idea about an outdoor cookhouse. Originally, I designed it because I thought about people going through times of outages after hurricanes, when the city's going and gathering up all the firewood and throwing it away. I say, stop wasting all of this resources. We need to eat. Here's a way you can boil water. If you can boil water, you can make distilled water. You can purify your water. You can cook your food. It's something we can live with off the grid in times of emergency. When people have to go fishing, what do they do to get their food? It's an excellent thing not to be dependent on utilities from the state and from the city. So again, I hope you like this idea, and it's a blessing to you. God bless you.